Hello, everyone. My name is Rashana with Pace Family Budgeting. Um, I am excited that you're here, and hopefully, you leave having learned something about budgeting. So, just a little bit about me. I'm a mom of a whole lot of 8 kids and a wife. My husband and I, we are on a home ownership journey that, trying to get rid of some existing consumer debt that we have right now. And of course, trying to save money, all while managing, 8 wonderful kids. So, kind of the purpose and intent of the channel is, some accountability for me, as well as an opportunity to teach others, right? What I've learned during this time. So, one of the things that I've been doing before I even start doing my budget is opening up with prayer as well as a verse, and that just helps to put my mind at ease, reminds me of, who's really in control, especially, during times when things are hard. So today's verse is Deuteronomy 28:12. It says, "The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow." Amen. So, one of the things that I've made a few videos, kind of on TikTok and Instagram and such about budgeting, and I've enjoyed it because a lot of people have come up to me, asking questions, which is even more exciting, right? To get questions from people. And one of them from my really good friend was, after watching the calendar video, she said, "Hey, do you use an app for budgeting?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, I do." Showing the app, I haven't quite figured that out, y'all, yet. But the app that I use, you can, of course, access it on, a computer or the internet. So that's really what I'm going to show you today, is how to use the budgeting app Everydollar. So Everydollar is a Dave Ramsey tool. It's one that I like to use. I consider myself a paycheck budgeter. So a couple little things about Everydollar before we get into it. Everydollar, of course, has a free version, and there's also a premium version like many apps. So there's some features that I will be showing you that are a part of the premium version. I will let you know what those features are. And then there will be some that are a part of the free version. Okay. I really enjoy using Everydollar for like an overview of my expenses, but I am a paycheck budgeter and I don't like paying for things that are meant to help me manage my money. So I didn't really take advantage of the premium features. But they've added a paycheck planning section. So I've been kind of playing around with it to see if it's something I want to use, so that way I can get, kind of rid of the pen and paper. But we'll see, y'all. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So again, just a high level overview. When you first register and sign up for it, there will be some categories listed here, and some kind of basic everyday like things that people pay for, right? And what you can do is add things. You can also take out things that you're not using. You can change the titling of any of the categories that you're using. And again, it's just broken down into sections for you, because in the premium version, it gives you these breakdowns so you can see how your money is being spent or planned. But just in the free one, of course, you can still complete these numbers. Okay, so anything with this pig here, is a sinking fund. So basically, just like a savings account that we set aside money, a little bit, each month for a certain expense, right? So, as part of the baby steps, if you're familiar with Dame Ramsey, you want an emergency fund first. And then, you could start feeling into these other categories. So again, we're trying to buy a house. We save for Christmas early in the year so that we're not stressed in December. We are planning on going on vacation this year. And then again, we're trying to pay off debt. So debt snowball. And the cool thing is that, you can kind of move these around like in order of, kind of priority or however that works. So again, we are really focusing on prioritizing, our emergency fund and paying off debt so that we can prepare for home ownership. And I'll tell you that I already started tracking this, and just in a moment of transparency, I had a really hard time. Nothing specific with like, I'm just having a hard time. I've been really focused on budgeting for a while. Oh God, my voice is changing because I'm trying not to cry. But I've been really focusing on budgeting for a while, and I'm just feeling like nothing is going as planned, and when I do have, a really successful month, it's like the next month, like everything just goes to crap. So it's okay, right? I'm gonna be faithful, but I'm just feeling a lot of emotions, right? Like I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed, and when I start feeling those feelings, I just step away from it, and I start to pray, most importantly. But I would, these numbers that you see are real. So, and I think that's even like, that's a little more frustrating to me because, on paper, it looks like we make so much money, and then by the time we get through everything, it's like, what is happening? What is going on? So that's why, I'm really insistent on doing this right. Okay. The method that I use, you can use it regardless of the amount of money that you make. Again, I budget for our entire family, so this is the income of the two of us. And again, I'm on the baby steps, so I picked up a second job to pay off my debt, right? Because it is weighing on me. So the money that I make from that job is literally only spent for paying off debt. And when we get down to debt, you can see that my debt payments are close to, the debt payments between the two of us is about $1,400 a month. And I at minimum bring home 12, which is the number that I list here, but you see my first check is tracked here, and it was $900. So let me get to that part of this tool, right? So once you've kind of got your categories listed here, you can enter your planned amounts, right? So this is how much I expect to receive from my first employer. This is how much I expect to receive from my second employer. Child support, this unexpected blessings. I list this here. I saw another YouTuber do that, and I'm like, way to speak it in existence, right? But this is some additional income that I receive, but it is going away. But that doesn't mean his blessings are, okay? And then my husband's income, and we do pay our tithes. That is, important to us. Even though, again, on paper, it looks rough. God has not forsaken us. We've never missed a meal. We've never gone without. We just need to be better stewards, and that is the goal. Our rent is here, our energy bill, right? Gas, right? Just estimated amounts of what you think is going to happen. And then what you want is for this to say, this is an Everydollar budget. And as you can see, with everything that we need to pay this month, it's not. It's not an Everydollar budget. We're $800 over budget. So this is what I have been working on and trying to figure out. And most of that is because we have this car expense that's coming up. So our car needs to be repaired, and it is going to be about $1,500 to do that. In the interim, we still have to get our kids back and forth to school. So we've rented a car. And it is just adding to, it's just adding, all right? It's increasing. It's increasing. So I'm working really hard. My husband and I are working really hard to try to see what we can cut out to get this to make sense. So that's what you guys are going to do with me now. And I'm also going to track a few transactions that I spent already. And I'm going to try to get this as close to a zero-based budget as possible. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, it just means that we utilize every single dollar. We give every dollar a job, okay? Right now we have more work than we have employees, okay? So we're going to try to figure it out. My tithes, I'm going to always pay my tithes, right? Because again, even in times like this, God is sufficient. He's able to do, right, exceedingly and abundantly. So I'm going to continue to do that. I have seen God do wondrous things in our life. So I'm going to be consistent with that. Gas is less now because we've got this rental car, and we were paying about $70 a week. We're only paying about $40 a week. So if we're doing $40 times the 4 weeks this month, we're at $160. So I can update this to $160. And again, this is just what I plan to spend this month. Okay. Again, the maintenance, we can try to get it for cheaper, but right now this is what we've got. Okay. The rental car, they quoted me $410 for the duration in which we need it. Typically we like to save, some money for, eating out like once a week, and we're just not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take that out of there. The other thing is our food budget. So with the premium planning, and y'all, like, this is me being whole transparent out here, but with the premium planning, you can see like some insights into how, you've spent money, which is nice. But if you see here, guys, like over the last 12 months, food has been it's been our cross to bear. Okay, we have gone over our food budget like just crazy. Okay, this is the total that we spent over the last 12 months. And even like sometimes it's like $2,000, like on groceries, and then like $1,000 on fast food. Like it's so ridiculous. So we are like, when we sat down and talked about this, we're like, this cannot happen. So again, we've been spending like $2,000. When I had to look it up, like, what does an average family of 8 actually spend on groceries? And a higher budget is around $1,800. A, kind of bare minimum budget is around 1,600. 1,600 is my goal, especially seeing as we are over. The other thing is, I like, my Starbucks coffee. I like to get my coffee once a week. So I add my little $10 to my Starbucks every week. And I'm making coffee at home. Making coffee at home. This is like my hair and my nails and, stuff that I like to do. And I am just gonna pause a couple of those things this month. So I'm also going to reduce this. I'm not gonna reduce it completely because self-care is important. I'm just gonna reduce the amount. So I'm gonna do $25. I knew that was 100, but I just wanted y'all to see where I was getting the number. So I'm gonna just do $100 a week for myself. I'm sorry, $25 a week. And then my husband has agreed to $60 a week. So that puts him at $240. Look, we're getting there, y'all. We're getting there. We still got $184 that we have to uncover. So hair and beauty is haircuts. My husband has to get a haircut every week. So we're just going to list it there. Earning. Again, y'all, we've been out here overspending. So I've had to use that app. So I have to pay that. And I'm just going to delete it. Spectrum, Netflix, Paramount, like we are talking real hard about any of these prescriptions that we can use. And then last month, because I was expecting to have a surplus this month, I did, a little shopping using the little apps or whatever, and we have to pay those. So, not a whole lot that we can do. It's on me. We don't have this anymore, so I can actually just delete this altogether. We also don't have the YMCA anymore or this MyFitnessPal, so I can just delete those. I got a bill from Bronson that says I don't owe until March, so I can keep that $110 that they take. I will probably have to skip my chiropractor this month. It's usually $40 and I go twice a week. Not twice a week, I go twice a month. So it ends up being like $80 a month. And then Spring Health is $65. And I'm just going to use my HSA to pay for that. And then the gym membership is $73. And then this is debt, right? This is debt. And these are the bare minimum payments, okay, that we owe. And again, moment of transparency, we've got an account overdrawn, right? So again, it's ugly, okay? It's ugly, but it won't always be like this, all right? I'm just like speaking that into existence, that it will not always be like this. We are going to get on the same page. And, honestly, I think that's what we struggle with the most. Like, we aren't always on the same page. Somebody always wants to do right. And then, someone always has the intention of doing right. And it may not always go that way. Okay. $184 over budget is way better than $884. So we're off to a good start, right? I can work an extra shift or something. And to be quite honest with you, like I have been praying, like what I told you, I did this budget already, and I'm just like, God, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do this. I don't know. I know I admitted my faults, right? I know that we haven't been great stewards over what you've blessed us with. And I am asking for forgiveness and hoping that and praying that you help us to do better, right? Help us to do better. Help us to find some unity and some common ground and just to be aligned, right, in our goals, as well as, in his will. So, God, I've already seen God answer those prayers, right? So I am truly believing that we're going to be able to, take care of this expense for this car, and we're going to be able to commit to this budget. Okay, we're going to be able to do it, and we're going to come out on top. Again, this, I expected 1,200. My first check was actually 9. And then I got that statement in the mail from Ronson that was like, hey, you don't owe us nothing until March. And my job called me and was like, my part-time job, which is, the one that I expected 1,200 that I was talking about, my part-time job called me, and I'm limited to the number of hours that I can work there, which is why I expect the 1,200. But they called me and they were like, we really need someone to come in. And I'm like, it's going to put me over my hours. And she was like, I approve it. So, I had to do the work, right? I had to do the work, but God provides. And I am going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on that. All right, let me move on because this video's already too long. The other expanded part, right? I'm going to mention the premium features of Everydollar is the paycheck planning. So again, this is what I normally do on paper. And using my calendar, like I normally do this math myself, which I like to do. But Everydollar has this included in their premium feature. Okay. So what it does is takes your information from the budget and moves it to the paycheck. Now, you can add due dates for things in here, like rent's due on the 1st, consumers due on the 20th. When it transitions over to the paycheck, you have to move things around, okay? When I first set it up, like everything was showing up on the 1st, and then we had to move things around. So that's what I did. Basically just taking the information from here. So like Paramount is due on the 1st, so ensuring that that's showing as part of the first budget. And then for those categories that are maybe a sinking fund, or like me, right, where I'm like, okay, I want $25 a week. When you go to that category on here, let me just find it. I can set it up for when I want that for myself. Okay. So $100 is what's planned. How do I want that to play out this month, right? What days do I want to pay myself that? And Everydollar will deduct it, right? So that I can plan for a paycheck. So these little dollar signs are deposits. Okay. The other thing that it will do is let you know, right, if you're at risk for overspending, or when that is, right? So I've got this $1,800 buffer, but what I do is, because I, again, budget by paycheck, and that's why this is a little more challenging for me, but because I budget by paycheck, usually the last 2 paychecks of the month are for the next month. Okay. So for example, I got paid on the 30th. My husband got paid on the 31st. I don't include these in January's budget. I use these in order to start paying for February's bills. So that's what this buffer is. Okay. It's my deposit plus my husband's deposit. And again, I use that to start paying the bill. So you can see that this subscription that's due on the 1st. My husband's, we call it allowance, even though that's such a horrible word for it, but we call it my husband's allowance. The gym membership, right? The bills that we have to pay, the overdrawn balance on that account, the rental car, right? So all the things that we have to take out of this paycheck are listed there. Okay. And then I get another like child support deposit on this day, something else that I have to pay. And then it starts over, right, with my husband's. And all of this carries over, which again is a great feature, you know, in the event that you need it, right? It really is a great feature. But as you can see, right, like when I, even with this carryover here, as I get to the 7th of the month, I'm short, okay, on this rent expense, as well as, you know, my husband. So at that point, I don't have the ability to maintenance these actual numbers in here, which is what I don't like, but it still gives me an idea of what I need to plan and or prepare for, right? So does that mean we have less grocery money, or does that mean that we don't do allowance? Is there something in here that I can pay later, right? Like, what are our options, right? There's another deposit that comes on the 9th. Can he wait a day to get this, right? So it's just those little nuances, okay, that helps us to sort this out. So I'm still playing around with this, right? This is my first time using the paycheck planning. I haven't used it before. I've used other features of this, like the insights, you know, like when I talk about, you know, how we spent money, like when we sit down together and we're talking about the budget, I've used these insights in order to put numbers to things, because sometimes you don't even realize, right, like how much you're truly spending in these categories without this, right? Like this gives us a clear picture of where we need to do better, right? So our food and personal spending are out of control. We have to do better. We have to do better. All right. Lastly, there's some goal setting in here that you can do. Okay. There's this roadmap, which basically just like plans your retirement and all that fun stuff. And then again, the insights, it's what we just saw. So I'm going to go back to the budget and I'll show you the other thing that I do is I use this for tracking purposes. So again, I got paid. So I listed the amount of that paycheck. And then my husband's paycheck is also listed there. Okay. I spent $165 today on groceries. And I got like 3 dinners and some like breakfast snacks and stuff for $165, which wasn't too terrible. It was cheap meals. And I'm considering doing a video on like meals that we've prepared as we've tried to like reduce this budget. So just some ideas. Y'all let me know what y'all want to see. But I'm going to track that. So in order to track that in the grocery budget, I'm going to just hit the plus sign. I'm going to put in the amount. And it was technically yesterday that I got that. And then I can put the location, or I can leave it as groceries if I want to. And then I just track that expense. Okay. The other feature that is included in the premium planning is this safe to spend feature. So I set my weekly budget at $320. I spent 165. So this is telling me that I only have another $155 left to spend this month, or this week, I'm sorry, in groceries. Okay. I also went to Walmart yesterday and I spent $58. I had to get some stuff for my son's project, and I missed the Dollar Tree time. I'm also a little under the weather. My husband's under the weather. We've got a couple kids that are sick, so I had to get a few items for that. So I spent $58 there too. And that left, so now we've got $97 to use in the grocery category. Look, we're gonna figure it out. There is food in the freezer, so we just, gotta use what we already have. Do some fridge and freezer dump meals and some cleaning out some pantries. We will make it work. We will make it work. And stretch just $97, right? Try to coupon as much as I can. Use some of the flyers, buy things that are on sale and make meals out of those. So again, this is like, I plan on tracking all this, so we're gonna figure it out. The only other thing that I bought was pictures. I had to buy pictures for again, for my son's project. I had to buy pictures, and I am just gonna take that out of this. So I've already spent $36 of this. The other thing is I had to buy pictures for my son's project. So I got them for like $12, but listen, I'm gonna list it under household. I could list it under kids, but I don't have an amount there. If I list it there, it'll be fine. It'll just show me that I spent over my kids' budget. And honestly, I think I may list it there. I'll just list it there for now. I spent $12, and that was at Walgreens printing photos. All right. So again, that just shows me that I overspent in this category. Okay. The other reason why, I'm still trying to get used to this is because this doesn't include like the transactions that I listed there in order to like kind of take away from things. I get that it's listing it holistically, so I'm not stressed about it, but I just like to see it. You can see actual transaction history over here. If you go to tracked, you can see everything that you've already tracked, which is a way to capture the history. And these are showing up in January, even though it's because they're listed for January 31st, but I list them as part of February's budget. Okay. You could also link your accounts here, and it will do the tracking for you. I don't like that. I like to manually track, y'all. So you don't have to. All right. But you can. You can link your accounts here, and it does the work for you. So this is the app I use. Again, this is also available on your phone. Like, you can download the Everydollar app on your phone, and you can still maintenance and update these transactions from there. And pretty much everything that I just showed you is available in the app, right? So again, premium features are this paycheck planning, the goals, the roadmap, and the insight. These are all premium features, but you can still map out your budget and come up with a good plan. Okay. So when I'm done, because we're done finally, but when I'm done, I like to, again, just review my goals, which I don't think I talked about at the beginning, but I like to review my goals for my finances, right, for the month. So the first one is to figure out this car. Figure out this car. Like, get it off my back. The other thing is to reduce my grocery budget, right? So again, I told you guys the last few months we were spending like over $2,000 in groceries, and I would really feel more comfortable at this $1,600 mark. Okay. I'd like to be even less than that, but I looked it up and it's like that's probably the lowest you're gonna get. And then lastly, but probably more importantly, I would like, my husband and I to be consistent and on the same page, right, when it comes to this. So again, not saying that we disagree, but budgeting isn't always fun. It's not always fun. And sometimes not being able to do something really sucks. And it's not fun. But I do believe that sacrifice would be rewarded. So that is my last and my final goal. So thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.